Okay, welcome to episode 2 of Yoda's Hut Star Wars LCG game playing. I am Bill, I go by Yoda Man on the boards, and this is another match between myself, I'm on the right, and my buddy Jerry, who is on the left, as we play in our Wilson, North Carolina meta of 2 at my house, also known as Yoda's Hut. So in this game, Jerry is actually playing the Imperial Navy, and I am playing the Rebel Alliance. So that'd be a good matchup here to see what happens. Jerry is starting with Enforce Loyalty, Tarkin Doctrine, and Deploy the Fleet. Pretty standard Navy setup. I'm starting with Command and Control, Draw Their Fire, and Solidarity of Spirit. That is the new Rebel objective from the latest Force Pack. It lets you put a Rebel unit into play for free as a reaction when that objective enters play. And then the dark side player can put an in-faction unit that costs the same or less into play as well for free. So I chose to put red 2 in it. Jerry answered with Mythal. My other objectives, I said, draw their fire, which is just 2 resources, 5 health, nothing else. And command and control, which increases the light side player's reserve by 1 for each objective in the victory pile. So getting ready to start the game here. The dial is at 1. Balances with the light side. And again, Jerry's objectives are Enforce Loyalty. That's a common Navy objective that's seen a lot of play. That when the light side player's turn ends, if it's undamaged, the dark side player does 1 damage to each light side objective. Tarkin Doctrine, which basically forces the light side player to keep resources to attack the objective they want, because after an engagement's declared and attackers are declared, Tarkin Doctrine can force the light side player to pay 2 resources or have to end that engagement and deploy the fleet, which is a staple of these new Navy Star Destroyer stacks that we've been seeing since Worlds, thanks to Zach Bunn and Jack of Hearts there, which allows you to damage it to reduce the cost of a capital ship by 1. So deploy the fleet being out certainly means I think we're going to see some Star Destroyers in this game, and Enforce Loyalty means damage that's on deploy the fleet can be flung right back at the light side. So pretty good setup here. Looks like Jerry's trying to decide if he wanted to keep the 5 cards he had after playing Mythal or discard 1 and actually get to draw 2. It looks like he discarded 1. He's drawing 2 back up to 6. And now he's probably got some options. I do have red 2 out. Not exactly the best unit to play with Solidarity of Spirit, but at least it's something. So I got to think with Deploy the Fleet out, we might be seeing a lot of Star Destroyers coming our way. So he's got 2 damage tokens out. I'm guessing those will go on Deploy the Fleet. They do 2 damage. And what are we going to see? We're going to actually see the Executor, the new Navy version of it that just recently came out too. It's an incredible card. When it enters play, it does 3 damage to a light side objective. So Jerry's going to decide where it goes. Looks like he's putting on Command and Control. Executor also has a great spread of combat icons. 2 black guns, 2 black blast, 1 white gun, 1 white blast. It's elite. It has 6 health. 3 force icons if you need it. Great card. Just what Navy needed based on everything else they have. And just going to be another staple of Navy sets to come, I got to think. So at this point, I don't think Jerry's going to be able to do anything else. So he's probably just going to commit something and take the force. I would think Executor is the obvious choice since it's elite. And that is what Jerry is going to do. He takes balance back and it turn passes to me. I'm going to discard 1 and draw 2. And hopefully get some resources here to try to get the Rebel ships going. I'm going to start with a Rebel Fleet command. That's cost 0 and gives you 1 resource you can use on Rebel cards that cost 3 or more. And Resupply Depot, which is just an amazing card for Rebel vehicle decks because it allows you to focus it and discard a card to give a vehicle any combat icon you choose of your choice. I'm going to play one of the new Liberty type cruisers. That costs 3, but it reduces the cost of the next vehicle you play by 1. So I got 3 resources open. I'm actually going to just pay 1 to put a Y-Wing down, thanks to the discount. And leave the 2 resources from Draw Their Fire open, which means I could potentially pay the Tarkin tax if I need to. So it looks like I'm probably done deploying and heading to conflict the way I'm maneuvering my cards. So now I've got an interesting choice here. I want to try to get enforced loyalty turned off. Resupply depot may help with that, but Executor is a pretty good defender, and Mythal is going to cause problems since it basically removes the first black blast and white blast that any vehicle, the first vehicle that strikes has. So it looks like I'm going in after deploy the fleet with the Liberty Cruiser and the Y-Wing. So Jerry's got to decide if he wants to defend here or try to use Tarkin Doctrine, which I actually could pay for it if I needed to, or just kind of let it go. I gotta think he's gonna defend or use Tarkin Doctrine so I don't blow it up and then get free shots at everything else. So it looks like he's using Tarkin Doctrine, and I chose not to pay for it and must be saving those 2 resources for something else. And I'm going to send the Cruiser and the Y-Wing in after Enforced Loyalty. So got some blast. I've got Resupply Depot out. Probably looking to win an edge battle here, even though I only have a couple cards left. And see if I can sneak some damage in on Forced Loyalty and turn it off. So I gotta think Jerry's going to defend somehow. It's got a couple choices. He could defend with, just Mythal. If he wins the edge, he's going to be able to kill the Y-Wing and focus the Cruiser and still have Executor left back. If he defends with Executor, he could probably blow up something. And it looks like he's actually going to defend with both. Mythal's going to take some blast damage away from the first unit that strikes, unless somehow I can get it off the board first, and I don't see how that's going to happen. Going to Edge, it looks like I'm actually choosing not to play an Edge card, and Jerry did. Jerry played Imperial Fist. That is not what I wanted to see. Imperial Fist lets you move up to 2 damage from a dark side objective to a light side objective as long as you've got a unique Navy unit in the engagement. And Jerry actually has 2. So he's going to choose to move the damage and blow up my command and control, and he gets the dial to 2 while it's my turn from blowing something up. And that's what the Navy can do nowadays with all the tricks between Executor and Yularen and Imperial Fist. Looks like he's going to choose to strike with Executor first, blow up the Liberty Cruiser. Now I've got an interesting choice. I'm going to get to shoot with the Y-Wing. Mythal's going to turn off both of its blasts. Well, the black blast would be the only one I'd have. I could use Resupply Depot to give it another one, or I'm going to discard a card. I'm going to use it. I think I actually end up focusing Executor to try to kind of keep it locked down so it can't come back at me the next turn. Let's see if that's what I do. Yep. So I gave up the right to actually damage and force loyalty. I'm not sure that was the right call there, but Mythal will destroy the Y-Wing and actually then focus Red 2. So now I've got no defenders and I can't take the force back. That was a pretty good turn for Jerry and a bad turn for me. So the dial moves up to 4 since Jerry still has balance. He's going to be able to take 2 off Executor and at least clear up Mythal, and he still has 4 resources plus all deploy the fleet's health since he healed it with that Imperial Fist. About the only good part for me right now is there's only 2 objectives left for Jerry to swing at. So unless he has some tricks like Empire Strikes Back or a Devastator in his deck to help get extra dial clicks, he shouldn't be able to win on his turn, but he's probably going to cause some havoc to my board. So again, Mythal there. Good thing I locked down Executor, or he certainly could blow up one of those objectives. So we'll see what Jerry does here. The fact he cleared off deploy the fleet means more Star Destroyers may be heading the way. So at least if he blows up something, I can clear off a token from Red 2. Alright, so Jerry's looks like he's going to figure out what to play here. Always want to lead with resources when you can. He's got some focus tokens out there, so we'll see if he's got resources. If he's got a ship or something. Looks like he's going to pay 1, 2, 3, and play a Death Squadron Star Command. That's a great resource. It's not limited, so you can play it with something else. It generates 3 resources even though it costs 3, but anytime an objective is destroyed, you get to remove tokens off of it. And now he's playing an Admiral's Order, which reduces the cost of the next capital ship you pay by 2, and I think Star Destroyers are heading my way. See what he's going to do here. He's got 4 resources open. He's going to damage deploy the fleet twice. Spend 2 more with Admiral's orders. That lets him play the 6-cost Death Squadron Star Destroyer, and here comes the Navy Brigade. So this is looking like he's got a free swing if he wants to with the Star Destroyer. He can take out another one of my objectives since both of them already have 1 damage on them and get the dial to 6. So it looks like that's what Jerry's going to do. He's going to attack with the Death Squadron Star Destroyer. It's got 3 blast. It's got shielding. And he'll remember to put the shield on here. Yep. He's going to blow it up. The dial's going to go to 6. It's only his second turn, and this game is not going my way. I did get to free up red 2 thanks to the objective leaving play. Jerry gets to free up the Death Squadron Star Command if he remembers, because something will just play. Yep, he does. And now I remember at this point thinking if he has a tractor beam, that's going to be really, really bad because he can move a token back to red 2 and attack with one of those Star Destroyers and blow up a 3rd objective. It looks like he's thinking about doing something. He might have that trick up his sleeve. And there it goes, 2 resource, and there it is, the tractor beam. Took one off Executor. Looks like he's thinking about whether or not that's really the one he wants to take it off of. If he strikes with Executor, he'll be able to blow up the objective, but he'd have to double focus it. Might be a better play to actually move the one off the Star Destroyer. And I think that's what he's going to do now. He picked it up off the area. He's going to move it off the Star Destroyer. He's going to use it to move it from the Star Destroyer, which costs 6, down to red 2, which costs 3. Strike with the Star Destroyer again and blow up the Solidarity of Spirit. And that's going to be his 3rd objective blown up on his 2nd turn. And the dial is already at 9. So again, I get to free up red 2, but he still has balance and doesn't even really need to commit Mythil to keep it. And I am not liking my chances as the Rebels right now. There are 2 damage on deploy the fleet, but I basically need almost a miracle Hail Mary here to come back. I'm going to flip up, mobilize the squadrons, defense Yavin 4, and another command and control, which won't really do me any good since I didn't actually blow up anything yet. And I'm going to get to draw 6 cards. At least I've got some resources in defense Yavin 4. I could discard cards to get vehicles into play cheaper. A Corvette would probably be good because I could put one of those down and draw a card too, because I want to be able to have cards for resupply depots, so I don't want to discard too many things. Right now he's only got Mythil free, no resources open. Of course, if I manage to blow something up, he could free up the Death Squadron Star Command, and another tractor beam could be really, really bad. So at this point, I think I'm weighing my options of what's in my hand. I'm not really sure. I'm hoping I have some ships that I can play here and at least maybe try to do some damage and see if there's any way I can hold him off. But it's really probably unlikely I'm going to be able to stop both of those Star Destroyers from blowing up one more objective when the turn passes back to Jerry. So if I'm going to win, I think I need to do it right here somehow, and it's going to be a tall, tall order. Red 2 at least could help, because if I can time things right, I could free it up to keep striking with it. But I'm not exactly sure what kind of combination I could draw here that would allow me to get all 3, especially with Mythil on the board taking away Blast. All right, so it looks like I'm thought, and I'm going to actually play Independence, which costs 4. See if I discard anything. I'm going to play 1, 2, 3, and I'm actually going to play the full 4. That helps because Independence at least reduces the cost of the next capital ship you play by 1, or each capital ship actually. And I'm going to play the new home 1, so I've got 2 resources. I've got like 4 cards left. So I will discard 2 cards, use Independence discount, and actually play home 1 for 2. And now it's probably going to come down to what I can do. That new home 1's really good, since if you strike with it, you get to resolve its blast icons against the objective you're attacking, as well as another dark side objective of your choice, so you can do double damage. And let's see if I've got any way to try to pull this game out here. Alright, so I think I'm probably done deploying since I have no resources left. Probably just contemplating, do I have any hope here? All right, so I think at this point I'm telling Jerry that if I don't win here, it's probably over, and I don't see how I'm going to win. At least give it the best try I can. So I'm taking home 1 and red 2, and it looks like I'm going to attack something. Unfortunately, I don't have anything that I can do with Tarkin Doctrine. So I'm going to try attack deploy the fleet. So at this point, Jerry could probably use Tarkin Doctrine and keep me from actually being able to attack all 3 objectives, although if I can get the 3rd blast thanks to resupply depot with home 1, I could still blow up deploy the fleet. So Jerry's going to choose to defend with Mythal. So I need to hope he doesn't have another fist. And put a card in. He put 1 in. I guess I passed. At 3. He has. Oh no, he twisted me. That was not good either. I have to turn my last card in. I don't have anything to resupply depot. 3-1. I'm going to win that edge battle. So that's a good thing. But Mythal is going to turn off a blast on whatever I strike with first. So I got to think the smart play here is to attack with red 2. I might be able to do some timing right. So at least he didn't throw damage back my way, but this is not looking promising for the rebels. So I'm going to strike with red 2. Mythal turns his white blast off. That's the first vehicle I struck with. I put 2 damage on Mythal. At least I turned off Mythal's tactics. So Mythal's going to shoot back for 1. And he's going to put the damage on, let's see, red 2. All right, so now I'm going to get to strike with home 1. So I've got 2 blast. And I'm going to do the kill Mythal with the guns. I also had 2 guns with home 1. Do 2 damage to the objective, which I guess we're kind of talking about right now, and also using home 1's reaction to do 2 damage to another objective. So I'm choosing to put it on forced loyalty, turn that thing off so at least damage isn't going to come back my way on Jerry's turn. Now I've got us trying to think, I guess, if I wanted to do anything else in the engagement. So I think it's good. We'll go to unopposed. That's going to blow up, deploy the fleet. I get my first objective, and I get to free up red 2. And I think it's at this point he actually frees up Death Squadron Star Command, and I realize that I am 1 short of actually being able to pull off the miracle and blow up all 3 objectives. If I had a card left to use resupply depot with, then I'd have it, but I had to discard both of my cards or toss them both into edge. So I think right now what I'm doing is explaining to Jerry that I can attack with Independence in red 2, shield Independence because it's got the shielding. When I strike with Independence, it's going to do 3 damage to Tarkin Doctrine. He can't redirect now because he's only got 2 Navy objectives. Deal 1 with red 2. That puts it at 4. The unopposed will blow it up. And then when it blows up, I can take the 1 off red 2 and I can send it in after enforced loyalty, but I can only get 2 more damage on it if I do that. So I came close, but I wasn't able to pull it out. Great win for the Navy. Rebel came close at the end. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.